Welcome to Truckee Talks. I'm Maya Schneider. The theme of today's show is building Truckee's future, and that can be figuratively as well as literally. On the first half of the show, we're going to be talking with members of the Contractors Association of Truckee Tahoe, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mitch Claren, Doc Gelso, Ted Owens, and Patrick Flora. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's great to have all of you here.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you to be here.
Contractors Association of Truckee Tahoe. What is that about? How did it come to be? Where did it come from? Let's get a little history on this.
Well, the Contractors Association started with an ad in the local newspaper. We placed an ad to try to get the contractors kind of together so they weren't kind of backstabbing each other. I think the idea sprouted from raising the image of contractors in the area.
Certainly this is one of the largest economic segments of our economy in the Truckee and the Tahoe Basin is building, construction, and real estate. There are certainly a significant number of contractors out there. How many members do you have now?
Right now we're up to 107 members?
108 members. Why did you want to come together as a group? What were the benefits of doing that?
Well, the obvious initial benefit is just networking. So, you know, all the doctors in the area know each other, lawyers in the area know each other, so why not the contractors also? Kind of helps with scheduling and backstabbing, and you can share ideas, resources, things of that nature.
What about this kind of organization coming up before? Is Contractors Association of Truckee Tahoe the first time this has been attempted?
No, I believe it's the fourth time it's been attempted. I would say it's the most organized attempt at it. It's got the most effort going into it, the most drive.
Most members. The last one was in Tahoe City. Dennis Schlump.
Who is also
A member of your organization.
In fact, they just donated the rest, the leftover money from their group, which has been sitting in an account for almost 20 years. They donated it to our group. It was $11,000.
Great seed money for an organization.
Yep, and we need it desperately.
Ted, you've been involved, as well as other members of Contractors Association, pretty heavily in some town dealings that have gone on. Specifically, I'm thinking about the Development Code. You and Mitch, I know, were present at every meeting that the Planning Commission held on that. Why was Contractors Association involved in that, and what are some of the accomplishments that you guys have done so far?
Well, actually, going back to some of the questions you were asking Mitch, one of the reasons that we felt it was important to organize was to have a unified voice, which was something that was greatly lacking in our community. We see that the realtors are very organized and what have you, and they're able to get their message out, and we had no avenue for that. So when we set forth putting together our organization, one of the things we wanted to create was a forum that local agencies and entities could access to get our points of view or information that might be necessary in rendering decisions, such as the Development Code. We were very active and participated in that. We've had other issues come about, such as fee restructuring, where the town turned to us for review, or road mitigation fees, which is an ongoing thing right now. That has also extended outside of just governmental agencies. For example, we were able to participate in the process in Tahoe Donner and with their design guidelines revisions. So I think we've really accomplished that one goal, where we wanted to create a forum where we could get our message out.
And it seems that your expertise is being called on more and more. Do you have a committee now set up with staff members of the town of Truckee in terms of?
It depends on what they're asking for. We've had, for example, one of the things that Pat's involved with right now is the interview process for a new building inspector in Truckee. So when they call upon us, we're able to turn it over to several of our members and respond to the needs. So it's not always the same people.
We've also been asked to comment on fee increases with the building department. Tony Lashbrook has asked us to come to some meetings on the road mitigation fees that correspond to development. So we've been extremely well received by Tony Lashbrook and Bill Miller, and it's actually been beyond our expectations. We're very pleased to have the input. We're the ones implementing a lot of the development code, and we're the ones paying for a lot of the fees, and it's nice to have a say, and that's one of the goals that we had going into starting CATT is to represent the contractors who are doing the work, who are involved in building of Truckee and the surrounding areas. Well, we should have a say in where our money goes, and that's been one of the goals, and it's been very well received, so we're very pleased.
Yeah, I think in terms of a benefit to the town, well, there are some viewers who might be saying, well, gee, here comes a bunch of contractors and they're going to come in and make all the rules. And really it's quite the contrary. The town has actively solicited your input.
That's an interesting point that you raise. The thing, that's a perception, yes, but not necessarily true. Don't forget that a lot of us represent people in this town. We build for the public, so we're looking after their interests as well as the community's interests. One of the things in our mission statement was enhancement of the community as well. Now, we're an embryonic organization at this point, so we haven't got all of our resources set forth yet, but community projects and school works programs and things like that are definitely on our agenda. So it goes beyond just our interests. We're members of this community as well.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit in terms of goals and missions. Where is it that you want to take Contractors Association? What is the future for Contractors Association?
One of our main goals, or short-term goals, is to get an executive director. The group of us, as well as the directors, started the Contractors Association, and it's all been volunteer time. The last 2 years, and the upcoming years are the busiest construction years we've seen in this town in a long time, and we're all just swamped. And so another one of the goals, and this ties into the executive director, is that we want to get benefits for our members. One of the reasons of joining also is to have a group. We can get better rates on workers' comp, liability insurance, maybe health insurance. We can get fleet deals on cars. As a group, we do have some power that we can put together and get benefits for everybody. So the biggest short-term goal that we all have is find this person who can run the day-to-day operations, because it's going to take somebody that's going to need to spend 6 to 8 hours a day developing these insurance programs, developing the benefits package that we want for our members.
Well, since we've got it, it's a plug. If anybody out there is interested in that position, they should contact the Contractors Association office, 550-9900.
$99.99.
Thanks, guys.
We keep it-
550-9999.
Right.
As
So we
easy
can
as possible to remember. That's it. For us as well.
But that's probably the biggest short-term goal that we have. Long-term, we want to be a viable voice in the community that represents the construction industry.
Well, let's talk about that industry, and Patrick, maybe you can take a chance here. In terms of contractors who may be watching this show saying, well, okay, I want to learn more about CATT. Am I eligible? Who are you looking for membership in Contractors Association?
Actually, our membership's open to a fairly wide variety of people. Obviously, licensed contractors, whether they be general contractors, subcontractors, are available for membership. We have vendor memberships, we have supplier memberships, professional, which would be architects, engineers,
Accountants.
Realtors.
realtors. Actually, we have all of those people. All of those people are currently members of the association. So, I think we offer a pretty wide variety of memberships to a large segment of our population, not just strictly construction only.
And as
but
you
the
all
related
touched on, good opportunity for networking, not just the discounts, but also, as Ted pointed out too, the political voice, a united voice perhaps for contractors
I
in the
think
area.
we've, particularly with the town of Truckee, we've enjoyed great success. Bill Miller has invited us to participate in the interview process for the new town building inspector. We've done that once already. We'll be doing that again. We've worked out there's been some issues the town has had, and the Engineers Association with some language in the town ordinances. We've been working with Tony and Bill and the Engineers Association to get that resolved, to allow a lot of the designers, general contractors that do design build to continue to do that in the town of Truckee.
I can see the benefit of Contractors Association for not only the contractors in the area, but also for the town. But let's talk to the lay people out there that aren't involved in the industry and who would want to find out, well, gee, here's a new group forming. Sounds like they've got some clout. What's in it for me? Where is this a danger to somebody who is out there saying, gee, my costs are going to go up because these guys are out here, or my costs are going to go down because these guys are out here? Or is there a benefit to the community through Contractors Association?
I think the main benefit is, as we network among ourselves, there's a professionalism
Yep.
that we're trying to promote.
The quality gets better.
The quality gets better, the interaction with the public gets better, and I think those benefits. The other benefit, I think, is that a contractor who joins a group, it's not inexpensive to join. It's not terribly expensive, but the contractor who puts that money out, I think, is distinguishing himself from the contractor who doesn't, because he's going to be more professional. He's going to network. He's going to be more community oriented, and I think that person is going to benefit the community also.
It should be pointed out also that we do have, for the public, membership directory, for example, and to an extent we don't need to go into here today, but we'd be happy to go over it on the phone. Our membership is somewhat pre-qualified. We have qualifications that are required for membership with respect to the status of a license, for example. So we do have a membership directory. It's broken out by all the various trades and specialties and what have you. So for somebody that may need, a specific assistance, say in plumbing or some specialty item like that, rather than going down the phone book, it might be very beneficial to the public to order a membership directory and utilize that.
So it can really be a resource
Certainly.
for people out there looking
Absolutely.
for contractors. And contractors really that would cover any scope of job.
All scopes.
All
of
scopes of jobs. Well, let's talk about the future for CATT. What's coming up? What's going on?
Well, we have decided to expand our board, and we're going to be having some elections for some board seats, I believe 4, and elections for officers. And what we're going to begin is our annual installation dinner. It'll be probably sometime in June for the installation of new directors and new officers. So that is coming up. That would be the big annual event. And we're just about to start membership kickoff drive concentrated in the Lake Tahoe area. We've spent the last year really working on Truckee, and now it's time to concentrate on the lake. And we've got some board members from the lake that are going to be helping us with that. So,
Any estimates of how many contractors are up here?
There's 900 from Donner Summit to Kings Beach to the west shore of Tahoe. There's 900 licensed contractors.
It's a lot of. That's a lot.
It's
of
actually
guys.
over 900.
That's a lot of contractors out there. Yeah, a lot of people that could benefit from that.
And so when you put all their families together, all the people that they hire, all the people that they work with, you can see the amount of population represented by this Contractors Association. You hit upon the economics of it. It's huge, but the population is also very large, and we're trying to represent that group.
Ted, you hit on something earlier mentioning that this was a fledgling organization, yet I can't tell you the number of times that people have said to me, gee, I have a project, and wouldn't CATT be perfect for this project? How are your resources now, and when people want to talk to you about things in the community, do they contact the office, and what can you put out there in terms of availability?
from time to time right now, but I think Doc hit on it as well. It is very, very busy right now. There's throughout the entire northern part of the state of California, actually, there's more work than there are people to perform that work right now. Being that we are a young organization, 108 members right now, our resources are a little thin right now, but that, again, is on our agenda. We're going to be really looking to do community projects and get involved in things. I understand there's a need for a new studio. And so on, and
Yeah.
so we
John
may be talking
Eccles.
about that at some point in time.
John Eccles not being shy about that.
We are taking suggestions and ideas from the public.
I think it'd probably
To be
be
considered in the
worth your
future.
while to prioritize, start
We've
looking at
also done
projects.
some donations
Right.
to certain groups that where we could help there.
Well, and a lot of your members are active in other community organizations as well, so there's a lot of
That's
ties to other groups.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of good out there and a lot of hard work, too. How long has CATT been in formation now, officially?
About a year officially. I think a year in July, I believe.
It was probably 6 months to 8 months in
Organizing.
planning and organizing
Sure.
to get to the point where we elected officers and board members, and then did our first membership drive. Last July was our first membership barbecue drive.
Okay.
After we had our paperwork done. We're
Well-
a nonprofit corporation, and we had to get all of those filings done with the state and
Your T's crossed
our
and your I's
bylaws
dotted.
written and what have you. So
There's a lot of behind
we tried
the
to do it
scenes.
right.
Oh, sure. It's a professional organization. There's a lot that goes on to that. Any word out there? We've got just a couple minutes left. Any last words you'd like to say to either contractors who might be watching who are interested or the general public?
Breakfast meetings.
Ah,
Well, we do breakfast meetings on the third Friday of every month at the Sizzler in Truckee. Anybody's invited to those meetings, not just members. It's a good way to get together, network, and see
what
what's
we're
going
about.
on.
and that's 7 a.m.
At 7
at
a.m.
the Sizzler.
before work.
We will be starting breakfast meetings over at the lake. Believe
We have one on April 13th. At
7:30 a.m. at Grand Lebacan.
Correct, and that's the first of, we'll be continuing series of breakfast meetings at the lake also.
Great.
And, we could use more members. We could also use more help from the existing members.
So for anybody that's interested in joining, 550-9999.
Correct.
That's
Come to the third Friday of every month Sizzler breakfast meeting at 7 a.m. Or the first Tahoe City meeting will be April 13th at 7:30 at Grand Lebacan.
Generally, we have an interesting guest or a local community member.
Somebody to speak on topics of interest to CATT.
Tony Lashbrook, Bill Miller show up, and they bring us up to date on what's happening in the town and in the building department. So it's quite informative. You get a chance to talk to the guys, and
And see what the group's all about.
yeah.
Yeah.
If,
Good way to try it on first before you
we're
buy.
all looking for
Correct.
employees, and so we're
Steal them from each other.
Any subs out there watching?
any carpenters need jobs.
Breakfast meeting's a good place.
Yeah, breakfast
Well,
meeting's a
guys,
great place.
Thanks very much for coming.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
Thanks for having us.
for
Good to
having
hear
us.
about Contractors Association. Stay tuned. We've got another segment coming up with Excellence in Education featuring the Endowment House. We'll be right back.
Hey, Rex.
Yes, Bart.
I think we need to have a party.
You mean like a hoedown?
Well, no, I mean more like a soiree.
You mean like balloons and hats,
Yep,
streamers?
that's exactly what I mean.
How are we going to do that?
For all your party supplies, it's Event Masters, your one-stop party shop.
Sure is fun, isn't it, Rex?
Yep. Could use a few more people, though.
Event Masters, you bring the people, we'll bring everything else.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about building Truckee's future, and in this segment of the show, we're speaking with members of Excellence in Education and talking about their endowment house, and we'll fill you in on what all of that means. I'd like to introduce you to our guests. My first guest here is Katrina Travis. Sorry about that, Katrina.
okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Scott Ryan.
Thank you.
Scott, nice to have you here. And Ryan Baker Brandstetter.
Thanks.
Nice to have you here, Ryan. First of all, Scott, let's talk with you. You're a member of the board on Excellence in Education.
Correct.
What is Excellence in Education? It's a name we hear in our community, but what do you do?
The Excellence in Education Foundation, its goal is to raise funds to support educational grants to the local students in the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District area. We raise money to fund competitive selective grants provided or proposed by teachers in this area, and we started in 1990 with the first year we funded $7,500 in grants. Last year we funded $80,000 in grants.
Wow.
This year we're planning on hopefully getting close to $100,000 in grants. We have an endowment currently of close to $600,000 that we are building while we are also funding grants every year. We're trying to build an endowment. The goal of this endowment fund is $1.5 million. The intention of this endowment fund is to get the foundation to a place where it has a nest egg, a bankroll, if you will, large enough where we can back off on some of the fundraising efforts and focus more on funding grants to the local school.
Yeah, because the principle behind an endowment is to be able to use the residuals from that endowment
Correct. The
to fund.
principal is not touched. We remain at least $1.5 million, if not maybe a little more, every year, and then use the proceeds, the interest, if you will, off of that endowment to fund the grants.
So the endowment house then is what?
The endowment house was an idea that we had as a foundation to try to speed our closure on our goal of $1.5 million. We are inching towards that goal, but raising the kind of money we raise, and having to give X number of dollars to grants and X number of dollars to the endowment, we wanted to get there a little quicker. And one of the ways we could do that would be to have a large fundraising project, while also having a fundraising project that had a lot of educational benefits to the local students in the school system. And so we're doing that with the endowment house. It's the idea behind the endowment house is to build a house that is no net cost to the foundation and will hopefully get us well over $1 million in our endowment fund by the time we sell the house this summer.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about how you've been building this house. I'd like to show our viewers a little bit about what that house is going to look like.
Great.
Scott, of course, you're an architect here in town,
Yes.
and the renderings here are very nice. So if we can get those up on screen, you can get an idea of what this house is going to look like. Now, the endowment house is being built up in North Star.
Correct. North Star Big Springs is
Okay.
the new area of North Star. That's a view of actually the back side of the house. The address is 2006 Red Tail Court. If anybody knows the area, they can drive by.
So it looks like it's going to be a very lovely home. Where are you now in the construction of the house, Scott?
We have the roof is completely on now. The windows are in. The exterior siding is going on. The rough plumbing and rough electrical are complete, and we are ready for insulation.
Let's talk to the students. Ryan, how have you been involved in the endowment house?
Well, we have a committee that is held every week that discusses certain things that are done about the endowment house, such as planned fundraisers and weekly updates on how the house is being built.
And have you been out and actually been hands-on in the house itself?
Yes, we have done some shots up there of some donations being given to the endowment house.
Uh-huh. And we've got some pictures we're going to be showing in a little while about some students out at the endowment house itself and sort of going through and looks like they're actually getting an education in construction as well as
Absolutely.
building.
It's been a tremendous opportunity.
Who is in this steering committee? Who's involved in that? Katrina?
It's there's 3 of us from Truckee High School. Myself, Wes Thielen, and Ryan. And then there's Sarah Kahn, who is at North Tahoe. And then there's Scott Ryan, Linda Brown, and some other members of the Excellence in Education Foundation.
And the steering committee's goal is what? What are you in charge of steering?
Of getting the materials and the money donated to the house and making those phone calls that are needed.
And how successful have you been? Has the house been entirely paid for by donations to date?
Not entirely paid for, but we've been really successful. We've gotten a lot of donations, a lot of money done, and it's helped out a lot.
And when do you expect the house to be complete, Scott?
Our goal is for this summer of 1999. We hope to have the house complete. We will have it on the market by this time, or by the summertime.
So you're looking to sell it on the market?
It will be sold as if it was any other house that was being built, a speculative venture, and it'll come on the market first part of the summer.
And who will be marketing that in case anybody wants to contact them?
Brown Sheridan, North Star Real Estate will be the brokers for the house. They have, as many other community members have done for this project, they are donating 100% of their services in the real estate end of the project.
That's tremendous.
Those are the kind of parts to this project that it started with North Star, and it'll curiously, it'll end with North Star, or maybe rightly so, it should end with North Star. North Star donated half of the value of the lot to start with, and then last year donated $32,000 in cash. So they are well over $100,000 in donations towards this project so far. And it's donations like that and Brown Sheridan and North Star Real Estate which make this project a success. There's been many other donations along the way, been tremendous.
And North Star has been a very good civic leader for this community. They've really been tremendous.
Unequaled.
Yeah. Really a fascinating project too, seeing this house go up, because it's almost poetic in that we're building a house to build the children's future here in Truckee, and really seeing excellence in education monies going to some very good programs. Katrina, let's talk about that a little bit. What are some of the student benefits of fundraising? What have you seen here?
Well, over at the high school, we've gotten some new graphing calculators for our physics and chemistry, the upper math classes. We also were able to put in a light control system in the auditorium for the drama students. We got mannequins for CPR, so we can practice. Over at Sierra Mountain Middle School, they were given brass instruments to finish out their band and some snowshoes to go outside and do outside work. At Glenshire, they were given book bags and science equipment. And over at the elementary school, they were given some counseling materials.
And these are items, Scott, that our schools would just have to go without if it weren't for excellence in education.
After the Proposition 13 passage, there has been not enough money coming from Sacramento to pay for what we like to call the cream of the crop. The idea behind the Education Foundation is to fund those exact items that have been unable to be funded by the local school district.
Now, when the endowment house is built and sold, and hopefully you get your endowment and you can sort of back away from the fundraising projects that are so energy sapping and really be able to dole that money out. Until then, what kind of future activities will Excellence in Education be hosting so that people can keep their eye open if they wanted to attend any sort of fundraiser or participate?
We have ongoing fundraising programs, Skiing for Schools, you may have heard of. We have local ski areas who donate ski tickets to us. The Education Foundation sells the tickets and keeps the proceeds. That has been a tremendous asset to our foundation over the years. We have the Dining for Schools program. Over 40 local restaurant areas, restaurants donate unlimited half-price entrees. For everyone who purchases a card, you can participate off-peak times in this program at tremendous, close to $50,000 that brings the foundation every year. Tremendous help by the restaurants. We have Golfing for Schools. We sell golf passes that the area golf courses donate to the foundation. And we make, this year we're probably going to make $35,000 from that.
Well, I know I consider it my civic responsibility to go for the Ski for Schools Day, and I'm sure that there are people that consider the golfing the same thing.
We try in our fundraising, a lot of our fundraising, to try to give something back to the community in the interest of also raising funds. So skiing, you get skiing tickets. Dining, you get half-price dinners. Golfing, you get reduced cost golfing, and so those are the kinds of projects that have been a part of our foundation for some time and will likely continue to be part of our foundation.
To get an immediate benefit from whatever the activity is, and of course
Absolutely.
the long-term benefit of children that have extracurricular activities and even enhanced standard curriculum.
Yes.
It seems like we're really sort of falling short without excellence in ed.
The local school district does a wonderful job in educating our students, but hopefully we can participate in assisting with that job.
Certainly. If people want more information on excellence in education, who should they contact? Is there a telephone number?
Specifically on the Endowment House, they could call our office at 587-3800.
Okay.
If there is anybody who cares to donate cash, materials, labor, we are in need of all three still to bring this project to a closure.
So again, now you're at shell stage. So
Correct.
you need labor materials for the interior.
We're currently looking for someone to help us with hanging the gypsum board.
Okay.
We have the material under control. We have the finishing of the gypsum board, but we need somebody to hang it. So there are finishing of the interior trim, the flooring, lots of finish work left to do. So we need cash, materials, and labor to help with that.
Gee, and weren't there just a bunch of contractors in the studio?
There's a good thought, right? I like that connection.
We can't pair the two together. Well, it's really dynamite to hear from all of you on this and the benefits that are coming directly from excellence in education. Ryan, Katrina, do either of you have anything that you want to say to folks out there who may be watching saying, well, I don't have any kids in school, I don't really see what the benefit of this is to me, or my kids are out of school, or...
Well, I just think the volunteer hours I'm getting out of this and what colleges, the college that I'm going to really looks high upon working with children because I'm over at Truckee Elementary with the GATE program, so they would look really high upon that. And I know if students want, like the seniors need volunteer hours, they can just talk to me or Wes Thielen and we'll hook them up with some volunteer hours.
So it's good experience for you too, not just building the house.
And also, the quality of really the town really is in a lot of the schools because it's what's produced by the town and is sent out into the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. You hit the nail on the head. That's it. It's building Truckee's future both literally and figuratively in supporting our students and supporting the education programs for our students. I'd like to thank all of you for being on the show and sharing this information with us. It's been great. If you want more information on the Endowment House, you can contact Scott Ryan at 587-3800 or look for information on excellence in education. There are brochures at the Unified School District offices. Thanks for joining us today on Truckee Talks, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, Rex.
Yes, Bart.
I think we need to have a party.
You mean like a hoedown?
Well, no, I mean more like a soiree.
You mean like balloons and hats?
Yep,
streamers?
that's exactly what I mean.
How are we going to do that?
For all your party supplies, it's Event Masters, your one-stop party shop.
Sure is fun, isn't it, Rex?
Yep. Could use a few more people, though.
Event Masters, you bring the people, we'll bring everything else.